y'all doing? Just getting ourselves situated. All prepped up, ready to play. Well, in my case, ready to draw. Woo! Even the tablet's warm. Nice. Tablet's like, oh, I'm a little toasty. This is not quite what I had in mind, but it's okay. It's all good. Woohoo! I'm glad you can hear me. Beats the hell out of not being able to be heard by anybody. Sound quality okay? How is everybody today, this evening? The current bit rate is lower than the recommended. I recommend that you use an audio stream. No, I don't want to do that. Thank you. It's okay. Woo, 2-minute countdown. We are coming down to the start. Okay, I will ignore those messages. Thank you for letting me know that. Suppose. Yay! How is the weather for everybody else? Hey. I know how it is here. Hot. Not as hot as it could have been, though. It was supposed to be hotter. You can believe that. We got the 1-minute countdown going. We are going to be getting started here in a minute. And don't forget that 30 minutes after I stop streaming, Ubi switches on and he starts his music playing. Yeah, damn hot, so hot I saw a little man in orange burst into flames, no doubt. I heard that it was so hot that, you know, the devil was heard to be complaining that we were trying to outdo him. I shouldn't be saying that, though. We're not in Texas. It was funny, though, in 2022 when we had that freeze in Texas. There is a hell, Texas. So hell literally froze over that year. Oh, God was having a good time that day. The people there weren't, but God was. All right. So I am going to pop open my art, and we are going to get actually the party started. Yay! I've loaded up what we finished working on last week. And so now we're going to start doing more of the detail work that gives us finer points and control. Finer details. You know, when I was younger, I was so worried about how fast I was getting things done that I didn't really put a lot of attention into detail. What I have since learned is that love is in the layers, and love is what makes your art really stand out. And that's true about whether you're doing music or regular art. Whatever you're doing, the more layers that you add to it, the more interest it holds for people. This is Adobe Photoshop that I am using, and then I have an Intuos Pro digital pen that I am working with. Just checking my layers. Hey, Tim! Good to see you! Welcome to the stream. Always happy to have my friends here from the guitar community. You guys rock. Ha ha ha. See what I did there? Oh, I'm on a roll tonight. And not even a jelly roll. I got my a little bit of a moment here. My tools sometimes disappear from me because of the way that things are arranged on my desktop. So it may take me a moment to find them. Without your tools, when you're using Photoshop, you are dead in the water. Figure out where they went. Sometimes they hide on my second screen, which is very annoying, I will tell you. As my son used to say, he wasn't really good at pronouncing things, so ooh. So he would say annoying instead of annoying. Oh, that's okay. You know what? I am cool. You guys, I don't expect you to show up every stream. I'm delighted if you do, but it's not something that I'm really expecting to happen. There we go. There's my tool set. It was hiding behind a screen, which, you know, go figure. I'm going to zoom in tighter so I get more detail going on for this pass, because we've gotten pretty good at outlines, and that's when it's time to start dropping in your details. Like I said, love is in the layers and the details. The more of both you add, the more interest you add to the artwork. And that's true in music too. I mean, if you think about it, really good compositions are a lot of layering going on behind the scenes. Just making sure I'm working on the right layer. And then we'll get started. How is everybody this evening? Medibang, I haven't heard of it. I'm going to try and look into that though. Photoshop I have used for decades, but man, it's getting more pricey, more and more pricey every month. It's like we're now up to $70 a month, and of course you don't own anything anymore. You'll own nothing and like it. Yay! Isn't that so cute? We're just gonna love it when we own nothing. On the bright side, if you don't own it, are you really responsible for maintaining it? Somebody else's job? Kinda. So you guys tell me what, I was thinking, not this stream, maybe we'll keep working on this one until we finish it, but for a future stream, I was kind of thinking, and this came to mind because my granddaughter has a tendency to come up to me with pieces of paper and go, Grammy, can you draw me a fill in the blank here? Like a Mad Lib for an artist. And so that got me thinking that maybe for one of the streams, that's exactly what I'll do, is you guys get to give me, can you draw a fill in the blank here? And I will do my best on stream to draw what you have ordered. And, you know, no promises on quality, no promises on accuracy, but I will do my best to put together what you have asked for. I thought that would be kind of cool, and we may even basically by the end of the stream see if we can't make it a single, look like a composition that actually belongs together, everybody's requests into a single piece of art. I thought that might be something cool. No worries if you're cooking. What are you feeding us tonight, Will? I expect food. If you're cooking, there better be enough for me. good. I'm glad you like the idea, Jade. You know, I should probably ask you your actual name. I don't know if you got. I am terrible. I know Will's is easy to figure out. Timothy's not hard either. I know Ubi's because, you know, well, we figured that one out pretty quick. Can't not know his name if you get married to the guy. It's sort of on your marriage certificate. That name thing, though, reminds me when I met my husband's best friend when he was in junior high, his best friend went by Brian. And I honestly thought that was his name. I thought that was his whole name. It was just my assumption that that was his first name. Never occurred to me it might be a nickname. And then he and I ended up working at the same company at one point in time. And I heard them call him Jeffrey, and I was like, Jeffrey, that's not your name. And he goes, well, actually, yeah, it is. I'm like, oh, show me. I'm the kind of person who if I get introduced to you and you're introduced to me by one name, that just sort of sticks with me. You are that forevermore. Oh. You're probably right, Will. It probably wouldn't survive the mail service. Not a lot does. Especially don't send it by UPS, for heaven's sake. Nothing survives that. I don't think God himself would survive a trip through UPS. I'm being harsh. Unnecessarily, probably. But they did break the grot, which was not cool of them. And we still have not fixed it, which we need to do at some point in time. All right. Back up here. What I am doing right now, just so that you're like kept in the loop a little bit, is laying down those lighter colors, and then we'll come back and we'll add some shadows and things to make it pop and make it somewhat more realistic. But you want to have those lighter colors first, usually. And you don't need a lot of darks. Nature actually doesn't give you a lot of hard lines. If you really study things, it's usually soft, gentle. Hey, Snug! Good to see you, man. Look, there is no late to my stream, okay? The stream time is, the party starts when you get here. Well, technically, I start whether you're here or not, but you can always catch the replay. That is the beauty of it. And you guys have been amazing in showing up at all. I can't tell you how frustrating it is to stream when nobody shows up. And I've done that before, so. But you know what? I put out there that video about, you know, things that I tried that didn't work in a YouTube space. And it is about connection, community, and just being okay with slower growth. Like, don't expect yourself to hit the pedal out of the gate. It's okay if your channel doesn't grow right away. It's okay to have a small but committed group who show up for you. Size don't mean soul, as Zuby would say. And I'm learning a lot just by watching him. You know, learning a lot about how to show up for the people around me, how to be present. I'm the kind of person who's really good with first impressions and not as good at maintaining relationships as Ubi is. He is like the king. He's had lifelong friendships, whereas the first time that I've had, well, he's my longest running friend. And we've known each other since I was 13. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Good to see you, CD. Like I said, oh, thank you about the proportions. Faces are something that I got really good at around the age of 11 or 12. And it was because somebody showed me how to do it right. The rest of the body, the rest of the figure took me a lot longer to get dialed in. And I will say that I have had the advantage of going through art school for a couple of semesters. So the funny thing is, the reason that I went to art school at all was because I wanted to get into game art and design. That was my goal. But the company that I worked for, the reason I got into graphic design instead, would only reimburse me for things that they thought they could use. And they could see a purpose for graphic design, not so much for game design. So since they were going to pay me to go to school, yes, that is a Wacom tablet, Brian. Absolutely. It's an Intuos Pro, in fact, which I picked up on Facebook Marketplace for a whole whopping $50. That was quite the bargain, as the kids would say. Well, I don't know which kids would say that. But... Oh. Oh, yeah. No. Only food. That's what we've got going on. He's off camera making himself a sandwich. Oh, he's making us food, he says. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm pretty darn hungry. I haven't eaten in hours, actually. Wasn't my intended thing, but ended up doing laundry and cleaning house and getting caught up in all that and didn't actually get any food made for myself. I made some for Mia, but not for myself. I'm starving. No, really, seriously. As Ursula would put it, practically wasting away. Yeah. Yeah, things could always be far, far worse than not getting another guitar. Yeah. I mean, really, you have to put life into that kind of perspective. You know, on days when things are sucking in some areas of my life, I kind of have to drop back and say, okay, but they have been worse. They could be worse. And just be grateful for where they are in that moment. One of the things that I learned at the age of 32, went on this retreat, and boy, did I need it. I actually ended up being on the retreat on the wrong day. It was so funny. My girlfriends and I were going to do this retreat together, and I accidentally scheduled on the wrong day. Got my dates mixed up. So I arrive on a Friday night. I'm in a bad mood. Crap is going wrong in my life. Everything seems to be going wrong, in fact. And I am just burned out. My job sucks. My boss sucks. My life sucks. Everything sucks. And, well, right then, yeah, no, you were not sucking. You were part of the, I don't know, maybe on that day I was kind of an F that guy kind of thing. There was pretty much nothing in my life that I was happy with or pleased about. I owed my mom and my sister money, and I didn't have the money to pay them, and my bills were behind, and my rent was late, and it was just crappy, one direction or the other. So anyway, so I show up on this retreat, and hi, Kitty. Welcome in. Thank you for coming back. I'm glad to see you. Yeah. So anyway, so it was a craptacular day, craptacular week. Guess God knew I really needed that retreat. Anyway, so I show up and I'm not in the mood for any of this. It's a silent retreat, which is probably good because I didn't have a lot of positivity to spread around if I'd have opened my mouth. And at any rate, so we weren't supposed to talk to anybody. And first session, though, is being led by this priest, and he tells us the story of this guy named Shorty. And Shorty was, well, you might guess by his name, accurately enough, he was short. But he was not happy about being short. He wanted to be a tall guy. Oh, that's okay, kitty. I just appreciate you showing up. I'm really happy to see you here. It means a lot to me that you came by. We're going to really zoom in on this eyeball because it's a small detail thing. And when I have small details, I really need to work on individual parts. Oh, our community, Kitty, tends to greet people, even if they don't really know. As you come in, you're just part of the family, just kind of treated like the rest of us. That's our habit anyway. So, the SPH arrived. Woohoo! You'll have to tell me how that goes. How's it sounding? Have you had a chance to get it out of the box yet, Chris? Yeah. Being on our streams is a little bit like being in a southern town. You're going to be waved at. You're going to be said hello to. You're going to be greeted and welcomed in. We might even throw a bless your heart every now and then if you're not being nice. But yep, you're going to be welcomed. It's swampy here, so you're waiting till tomorrow. That's probably true, Chris. You don't want to get that humidity damaging the poor little guitar. I don't know about you, but if you've got what we got going on, you've got a lot of humidity up there. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but one of my favorite tools happens to be that smudge tool. It's because it does a really good job, a really nice job of blending things together. I'll tend to use it. Some people might say I overuse it. I don't know. But at any rate, so I got to that retreat. I was in a super crappy mood. He's telling us about Shorty. I said this guy who really wanted to be tall, but he wasn't. And so the guy's like, you know, he does everything he can. He buys those platform shoes, but of course all those do is make his ankles hurt. He tries to get, you know, hormone injections to make himself grow, but that doesn't work. And yeah, as long as it's a good bless your heart. Yeah, we hope for a good bless your heart, don't we? The kind that says, you are so adorable. Well, aren't you just so sweet? Any rate, so, you know, here's the guy Shorty, and he's trying everything he can. He does implants, but those just hurt his legs, and he's just not a happy guy. Oh, I forgot to switch off smudge. No wonder things aren't working quite the way I'd want them to. Mind yourself. Got to remember which tool you're using. And so, at any rate, So he's done everything he can to try and get taller. And the priest was like, and the real thing that Shorty needed to do wasn't to get taller. It was to be grateful for the person God had made him. And so he told us to go up to our rooms. We all had individual rooms. Go up to our rooms and spend time just thanking God for our lives and our families and everything. And I'm over there. I told y'all I was in a really terrible mood that day. So I marched up to my room all right, and the first thing I said to God was, well, I'd like to say thank you, but I honestly don't see anything that I have to thank you for. And that was how I started the conversation with God. I'm sure, he and I, oh man, he has put up with so much sass from me. It's a wonder he hasn't struck me down with lightning. Oh, Lordy. But at any rate, like I said, I didn't see anything to be thankful for, considering my life wasn't going the way I wanted it at all. So, next thing I heard was, well then, thank me for all the stuff you don't want in your life. And I was like, well, why in the heck would I thank you for the stuff I don't want in my life? Why would I do that? What on earth would possibly incentivize me to thank you for that? And he's like, because I'm working it for your good and my glory, and that should be good enough. And I was like, okie doke. I don't see how this is going to be worked for my good, but alrighty then. Ooh, yeah. The cool front came through. Only 80. Yeah, we had lower temperatures today than we were supposed to. There was actually a storm that did roll through. We were super grateful for it. It didn't last long enough, in our opinion, but we were grateful that it was there at all, because it wasn't expected. It wasn't on the radar originally. So I'm sure we can probably thank Hurricane Erin for that. But, all good things. Yep. That weekend, he told me to thank him for all the crap that I didn't want in my life. Promised he was working it for my good and his glory, and that should be good enough. And then he gave me an assignment that weekend. Told me that I should just look for opportunities to serve the people around me. If I saw trash, pick it up, put it in a dumpster somewhere. If I saw an empty glass, pick it up and either offer to refill it for somebody, or take it to the bin to be washed. But don't stick around, don't ask for thanks, don't look for a reward. Just do it. And so I did. I spent that entire retreat just walking around, looking for things that I could do for somebody else. And I'll tell you, like I said, I started that retreat super miserable and not happy at all. And I ended it feeling pretty good about myself and my life, even though nothing else had changed. My pocketbook certainly hadn't. And as I was leaving that retreat, I wasn't really thinking about much about what I'd done or its impact on anybody else. I was just doing it because God told me to. And that's a rarity for me. But at any rate, so this woman comes up to me, and I have no idea who she is. And she says to me, you have no idea how much that meant to me. I work all the time serving other people, and nobody ever seems to notice me or see me or do anything for me. And every time I turned around, you were there doing something for me, and you did it with a smile, and you looked me in the face, and you noticed me. And she said, it it meant so much to me, and I just wanted to thank you for that. And I was so touched that it really hadn't occurred to me how much of an impact my life could make on somebody else. Just serving, doing little acts of service for others made such a big difference to somebody else. So, hey, Malachi, good to see you. You can make decent copies of Beetle Bailey. That's some talent right there, Snug. That is some talent. And that was the first lesson I really got. Two things was, first, the power of gratitude, and second, the power of serving other people. Just showing up and genuinely serving them, not expecting anything from them, not looking to get anything or gain anything, just showing up to serve. And then in 2016, I accidentally started a business ghostwriting for other people. If you showed up to the stream on a Saturday, I mentioned that, but the whole hilarious part of the story is in 2010, God asked me to write my story, which I still need to get done and haven't, because that's me. Right on the ball, right on the money all the time, all right? So anyway, he asked me to write my story, and then 6 years later, I still hadn't made any progress in that direction. And so I'm looking for work, and I'm frustrated because nothing's coming through. And I'm not usually the type of person who has trouble getting a job. Like, used to be jobs would just like fall into my lap. I would apply, I would have a job within a few days, it would all be cool. And, you know, I didn't have to work hard to get a job. And then that year, though, I was supposed to, I had worked for months for this card company, this customized card company, and they really liked my work. And I had the reviews, I had everything. And they had told me it was a crappy pay job, really. They had told us, though, that they were going to let us go at the end of the year, but they would call back the ones that were really good as soon as the new year basically was over and they rebudgeted. So I was confident I was going to get a call back, but I didn't. And I was putting out all these jobs, and I wasn't getting any calls from them either. And I was super frustrated and super scared. My husband wasn't working. My son wasn't working. We were all, rent was coming up fast. And it was just freaking me out. So I did what I normally do when I had a problem like that. And I went on a walk and talk with God. And like I said, I'm so sassy. It's a wonder he puts up with me. But so like I'm sitting there, okay, God, you know, you brought us out here, you got us this apartment, and now nothing's coming through and nothing's working, and what are you doing? And I heard him say to me, I don't know, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean, what am I doing? You know what I'm doing. I'm over here putting in for jobs. I'm looking for work. I'm doing, you know, I've filed for unemployment. I've done all this stuff. And he said, yeah. How's that story coming along? Oh, yeah, about that. And he's like, do you know why you keep failing at things? I'm like, well, obviously not, because if I knew, I wouldn't keep doing it. He's like, you won't commit. You just won't commit. You keep trying to build these back doors and these bridges and these ways out just in case. And all that time and all that energy and all that effort that you're using to build those back doors and those bridges and those ways out just in case is energy you could be using into doing what I asked you to do. And if you would just do what I asked you to do, you would succeed on levels you have never succeeded before. Now, you would think, good Christian girl that I am, that I would be like, yes, God, thank you for the chastisement. I agree. I'll get right on that. Nope. You are looking at the wrong girl if you think that's how I answered. such a sassy little smartass. I said, fine. You want me to commit? Fine, I'll commit. And I walked home that day and got into this forum where there were people who were, looking for tips and advice on how to write their story and everything. And the funny thing is, I've been helping writers write their stories in a writers group for like a couple of years already by this point. So I don't know what my problem was. I really don't. At any rate, I take that back. I do. Your own story is the hardest story to tell, not because you don't know your story, but because there's so much story to be told. Thank you, Will. Yeah, I like detail is where things pop. It's just like in music and everything else in life. For instance, if you're dating a woman or, if you're romancing a woman and you really want to impress her, the way to her heart is show her by the detail you put into what you do for her that you have been paying attention. You know her. You will win her heart every single time. Because at the bottom of the day, at the end of the day, women want to feel like they are known. People want to feel like they are known. And the more specific and detailed you make the effort, the more they feel that they are known, that they are seen, and that they matter. Well, this guy's got a little help. Well, you may not be dating other women, but you should always be dating your wife. Just reminding her that she's still the hottest thing since toast, Because trust me, it matters. You want to feel like you're still sexy and hot, even 27 years into a marriage. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes life got you a little bit fudgy around the waist and you're starting to feel like you've lost the sexy. So if your man's still paying attention to you like he did when you were teenagers, it matters. It matters. And those little details, like Ubi, for instance, the birthday present, he usually gets me like a customized journal, which is great because if you don't know this about me, but you're gonna learn. My house is literally a storehouse for journals because I have so many of them. I could probably populate a Barnes and Nobles or 10 with all the journals that I've got. I'm huge. Journals are, well, it's they collect my creative ideas. And yeah, I do write on the keyboard and everything, but when I'm looking for ideas, when I'm working through problems, journals are where I turn. Oh, yeah, the where to start. Let me tell you the solution that I figured out. When I was working with writers and I really wanted to help them not just be able to start, but know where to finish also and what to put in the middle that would make sense for them, I realized something. All great stories begin with a problem that looks almost impossible to solve, especially for the hero. In fact, it's part of what intrigues us. You've got to give them a hint that it's possible for them to solve it, but the likelihood just seems so low. Like this person, has the odds stacked against them. Life's handed you a bunch of those problems already, so you just have to work them into your stories. So that's where your story really starts, is that problem that your hero is facing that they've absolutely positively got to solve. Maybe a love problem, maybe a music problem, maybe a financial problem. But the beauty is there's always a problem. And then the middle of the story is not about the solution, finding the solution so much. That's usually in the first third of the book. The middle of the book is about overcoming all the obstacles that they have to overcome in order to get that problem solved. And then the end is not when they resolve that problem, it's the transformation that comes after they've resolved it. How their life, their family, their world changes because they went on this journey, which basically got them to become a totally new person in order to be able to solve that problem. And once you realize that, then it's not hard to find your starting point. And it's not hard to find your middle or your ending. And the thing that, if you think about it realistically, what keeps most of us from solving our problems, when you look back on the problems that you have solved, you'll notice a trend. There was something that you thought was true about your problem that wasn't actually true. So there's some gap in your knowledge, some misunderstanding that you've got. Maybe somebody either purposely or accidentally deceived you. Most often it's not really on purpose. Most often you got deceived because they were deceived and they just passed on what they learned to you. And cultural bias is a thing. And that's why we have trouble solving our own problems, is that bias that we've got, which is our collection of our beliefs, ideas, assumptions, and stories that aren't always true. Yeah. But yeah, and it works for music too. If you ever are looking to create lyrics for maybe even a collection or an album, and you don't know where to begin that process. Yeah, that's nice. That's shaping up nice. I'm liking that. You can start with a problem that you faced at some point in your life and really hone in on the emotions that you were feeling at the moment when the problem was at its worst, when you felt like there was never going to be an answer. There was no hope. Nobody was coming to your rescue. The shit hit the, pardon my French, the shit hit the fan, and you didn't know how to get out of the spray. Well, I shouldn't be cussing. I know that. It's a bad example. I shouldn't be setting bad examples for something. But at any rate, so yeah, you pick that moment and bring all of that emotion into the lyrics. Everything about what you were feeling, what you were thinking, where you were, how old you were, all of that. And you'll find that those lyrics really connect with the people who listen to that music, because that's where they are right then. And that's how you really peg it. Really get them responding. Because here's the truth. We listen to music because it stirs our emotions. Because it connects with us on an emotional level. And if we're finding that it doesn't, we'll tune out. Yes, Timothy, that was so great. The cover he did. I got to tune in and listen to that. That was awesome. You got some great guitar skills there. And I'm going to say, Brian, you have managed to assemble one of the most kick-ass group of people on the internet. The guitar community is just stellar, just full of stellar people. And that's really a sign of the quality of a leader is the people they attract to them. Crap leaders attract crap people. They'll blame everybody else for being crap, but it's really the leadership that dictates the community. Music, laughter, and friends, they do go a long way toward helping you have that happy life. I personally, though, have discovered that happiness is something I get to choose. It doesn't, nobody else gets to choose whether I'm happy or not. It all depends on what I choose to focus my attention on. Am I focusing on all the crap in my life that's going wrong? Or am I choosing to believe that everything in my life is working for me and not against me? And I'm maintaining a positive outlook? Because even if I am, then even if things aren't going well, I can at least keep my mind that it will go well. That like maybe in this moment it doesn't look good, but it's going to work out good. And if I do that, then I'm in charge of my own happiness. And then I don't blame other people when I'm not happy because I know it's up to me to fix my attitude. So yeah. Don't get doctor on you? Oh, sorry. That's me. I bring the sass. I bring the doctor. No, I literally just share with you the things I've learned. Crap that I've gone through in life that's taught me I get to control my future, my destiny, and my attitude. And fortunately, my attitude sometimes gets away from me. You get more sass than you get anything else. But if you do get sass from me, don't feel like you're all alone, because God gets plenty of it. I swear I don't know why he puts up with me. I know he loves me. Oh. And then for that, I'm grateful. I am not planning to play doctor with anybody except Doobie. But that's an off-stream thing, and we don't do OnlyFans here. Physicists take too much money. Well, physicians do too. But yes, actually, I don't know if you guys have ever, paid attention to the physics YouTube community, but I tend to watch every once in a while. Sabine Hoffmeyer is a German physicist with a very low tolerance for BS from anybody, which I can respect and admire. Given that my birth initials are BS, I'm married, so true story. I was born in BS. I married into BM. It was a slightly classier version of the same shit. Oh my. Married into the Miller, just not the money side of it. And you guys are preparing for Miller Hour. That's our Miller time on Monday night. It's me and then Randy. 2 shades Miller. Grateful it ain't 50. No, you are stuck in for your 2. You opened your mouth, sir, and made promises to your audience that I will expect you to uphold, sir. You are stuck for 2 tonight. I'll be in that stream with the rest of them. I get to fangirl. And the nice thing is I don't have to worry, I don't have to feel guilty tonight because I've already done my accounting work. Accounting is not my favorite thing. Math and I were frenemies for years. I had a love-hate relationship with it. I knew I needed it for later success in college and stuff, but I really hated it. Oh, I love the metric hour. Yeah, that is a nice, very nice. It's getting a bit sloppy here. Rainer in. Thank you, Timothy. I appreciate it. I do. I think if you capture the eyes, you can capture the audience, because that's where most people get caught when they're looking at somebody. I know I've always fallen for a pair of pretty eyes. As a matter of fact, for me personally, the most attractive part of a man has never been from the waist down. The most attractive part of a man has always been, to me, the eyes, especially. What? Because they say so much about who the person is. And then, you know, if they've got a nice chest, I don't mind a good looking tight chest, you know. I don't want them having a D cup, but nice pecs don't hurt. Yeah, you probably stepped the pencil already. Well, fortunately, snapping these are not is not something that I can easily do, because there are moments of frustration where I probably would too. Um, calf sculpting waist. Yeah, it's nice. Sorry. I'm probably not going to be looking at your legs. Pretty eyes, pretty smile, nice chest. That's me. That's my thing. And of course, quality of character. Don't get me wrong, that part is the most important. I always joke that really attractive men usually come in one of only 3 varieties. And this is the cynic in me, so forgive me in advance, guys. But they're either gay, stuck on themselves, or hopelessly neurotic because somebody made them believe they weren't attractive when they were young, so they took the time to develop a personality and don't realize that they're attractive. Those are the guys you want to take home and keep, but you are going to deal with their neuroses for the rest of their natural life. It's okay, because if you're with them, you're probably just as neurotic. It's just a matter of, do your neuroses match in the right areas? Long monkey-like arms. Wow. Yeah, get more black clothes for the beatnik poetry. Wow. Yeah, that's special. Oh, you guys aren't even seeing the artwork anymore. What the heck happened? That's not cool. I'm going to save this real quick and try to fix whatever broke. I think you may have switched up to it. Oh. It's not, for some reason, maybe I pulled the window out? Ah, yes, that's what I did. Guilty as charged. Yeah, it's my gray period. Oh, yeah. It's a very avant-garde thing. So avant-garde, you can't even see it. But that does, you know, I aspire to be the kind of artist that can sell a blue ping pong table with a white stripe down the middle to the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art for over $56 million. I swear there's got to be money laundering going on with that. I swear there has got to be. There is no way there's no way somebody is seriously paying that kind of money for that garbage. There's no way that appreciates in value. Oh, arm span is roughly the same as your height. Mine is roughly 4 inches longer. Well, you know, though, that's the thing I was thinking about today. There was a really great artist, awesome artist, and he submitted a painting he had done painstaking work on that was of his girlfriend. And, you know, he did not win the competition. And when the judges came over to explain why, they said, you know, we loved the emotion in your painting. We loved everything about it, but your proportions were off. We believe you need to spend more time studying proportions. Well, his girlfriend was in attendance with him that evening. And they were specifically talking about the feet that he'd drawn. So he asked her, and she obliged, to take off her shoes. And the painting was an exact match of her proportions. The thing is, we pursue perfection, but human beings are not designed with perfection. We are designed to be unique. And so, yeah, each of us has something a little bit off, if you will. from the standard template. But that doesn't mean it's wrong. Ooh, my husband has to prepare us food. My dad worked for the state dot in the middle of their new building. They commissioned a 30K piece of quote-unquote art. It was a pile of dirty lumber hoisted into the air. I can sadly believe on it. And yes, there was an artist that crapped on a board, covered it in white lacquer, and sold it. Yes. This is the kind of highbrow stuff we don't aspire to do. At least not on this channel. But honestly, I believe there's intentionality in the assault on things being beautiful. You know, beauty serves a purpose. Real beauty inspires hope in people. Real beauty says, look, there's something better than what's today. It says there's a reason to go on when you're not feeling like it. And real beauty is important for society. And that's as true in music as it is in art, as it is in writing. And I believe this garbage art is being promoted to kind of like kill people's hope by showing them crap, like literally crap. So I don't think that's an accident. I wish it were. But maybe I'm being overly pessimistic, and maybe my original assumption, which is oddly enough more optimistic, that it's money laundering, is the right one. You're trying to shave and be involved. That's a rough call there, Snug. Don't nick yourself. Okay. I am gonna call it a stream, not because I don't enjoy your company, but to give everybody a chance to grab some food and me a chance to eat before Ubi starts his stream. And believe me, you do not want to miss that. He is a show all in and of himself. He does a much better job of entertaining people than I do. He is the entertainer of the family for sure. I can be entertaining, but he is a natural at it. So thank you guys for coming to the stream. I totally appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to show up for me. I'm going to try and do this next Monday as well. We'll just keep working on this piece and see where we get it and how far we can take it. And you will get to hear more crappy stories about my life. Woohoo!